Hi guys! So as I've been mentioning a lot recently, in just over a week I am going to be going up to London for a couple of days and I'm very excited. It's been quite a while since I've been away kind of by myself sans child, so I'm looking forward to just like a nice girly weekend. But I have been making my packing list this week because I'm a big fan of lists. I like packing lists, itineraries, the whole shebang. So I thought I would share with you some of my travel essentials, the things that when I go away I cannot physically leave behind, whether it's because I love them too much or I have them with me every single day or I just find them so much easier to use. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things I like to take away with me. So the first thing I will always make sure I have on any kind of trip is a decent handbag, one that's very comfortable. So this is kind of my go-to one at the moment. As you can see, it is massive, so you can fit lots and lots in there. It's got a nice front zip, which is workable, so you can put like a little compact mirror or some things that are easy to reach in there. It's also very important that it zips up, because then that means obviously it's a lot easier to keep your things secure. What I like is that it has the handbag straps that you can put on the crook of your arm. It also has a detachable strap that you can put over your shoulder as well, so it's very easy to use, very versatile. This one here is very big, however it doesn't have a lot of compartments inside. I don't mind that because I tend to just sort of throw everything in, but obviously if you do like everything organised then I would definitely search for one with compartments. This one's from Toiletries and it is fantastic. It's worked for me very well so far, so I would definitely suggest checking out Toiletries for things like handbags, whether it's everyday or kind of your special holiday one. No matter where you're going, you will pretty much always end up going out for either like a nice meal or some drinks and things, so it's always very important to pack a nice dress or a kind of like a dressier outfit if you prefer something other than a dress, just to make sure you have something. And always make sure you pack matching shoes, a handbag and jewellery, because there is nothing worse than pulling a really nice dress out of your suitcase to wear for a really great evening out and finding that you didn't pack the shoes and you didn't pack a bag. You're a bit stuck then. So one that I love at the moment, because it's very summer, is this yellow dress. It's kind of hits just above the knee and it's a Bardot style as well, which as you can see I am a big fan of Bardot styles at the moment. I also love the fact that it's a very summery yellow. So this one I would normally pair with just kind of a nude clutch, some little strappy sandals like heeled wedges or something. And I'd probably go with kind of minimal jewellery for this one, just maybe some little stud earrings and a couple of rings, just because I don't think it needs that much accessories. But this is one that will definitely be going in my suitcase. Along with, I think, the purple dress that I showed you in my last video, because that one is so form-fitting, it is gorgeous. And then I have kind of two different dresses to choose from depending on where we go, so it's always good to have choice. Now everything else I have packed inside my trusty little suitcase. This is not the suitcase I'm going to be taking with me. It is way too small. This is the suitcase I tend to pack my makeup in, just because then I can put the bits and pieces that I normally use in here rather than having to take everything with me. And then I can save like my toiletry bag just for my toiletries. When getting a suitcase I would suggest go for one slightly bigger than you think you'll need, simply because of the fact that you will definitely buy some things while you're on holiday, whether it's in the UK or if it's abroad, and you don't want to be lugging back loads of carrier bags. So you want to be able to put them in the suitcase as well, so then they're secure and then you know it's all in one place. Obviously if you are going abroad, make sure you check the luggage requirements on things like airplanes and coaches, things like that. Sometimes they will not let you have them if they are bigger than a certain size, so double check that with your airline before you leave. But in this one here I have some of my trusty essentials. So the first thing I have is, and they're completely tangled up at the moment, my headphones. These are just kind of like a really cheapy pair, simply because when you're going abroad you don't need a really expensive pair, just in case you break them or they get lost or anything like that. What I would suggest as well, if you're using them to watch a film or listen to music or anything like that, make sure everything's fully charged before you leave, because you don't want to get halfway through the journey and find it cuts out. That is horrendous and it's happened to me before. Also, if you're sharing it with a friend like I'm going to be, you want to get a headphone splitter, just so then you don't have to put it on loudspeaker and you can both listen at the same time without having to just have one headphone each, because that is the worst. And we all have flashbacks to long journey coach trips in school having to do that, and it is horrible. So get a headphone splitter. You can get them from, I believe, places like Curry's, or where else can you get them from? Most kind of phone electronic retailers will have them. I've also got a book. Sometimes you don't want to watch a film on the journey, or sometimes you have an evening in. So I've got The Wizard of Oz, just because it's a classic, but you can choose kind of any book. You can go for a nice summery theme or Christmas theme, depending on when you're going. Or you can just go for a classic romance novel to chill out and read on the beach, you know? Just depends what you like. Now, speaking of toiletries, I mentioned that you should get yourself a nice toiletry bag. That's because the amount of times I've gone on holiday, opened up my suitcase and found that things like shampoo have leaked everywhere. Oh my gosh, it's the worst nightmare. I can't even describe how horrendous it is. So definitely get a toiletry bag, so at least then if it does leak, it's not going to ruin all of your clothes or jewellery or anything else, or God forbid a passport, you know, because that would be the worst case scenario. But in terms of what toiletries to take, some people prefer to use the things that are in the hotels, some people prefer to buy stuff over there. Personally, I like to take my stuff from home anyway, just because I have very sensitive skin and I know what works for it. I'm not going to take big massive bottles because it's not going to work, especially if you are going on a plane. So I would definitely invest in some of those like itty bitty teeny holiday bottles you can get from places like Superdrug and Boots that you can decant stuff into. So then you're not having to buy extra and then you can reuse them the next time you go away. One of the things that I would definitely take no matter where you're going is a good moisturiser. The one I kind of go to is Talika, and it's the Photo Hydra Day. So obviously this is one that you put on in the morning. It's very, very hydrating, so you won't have to reapply it throughout the day. That's really important if you're going to be walking around all day, if you are kind of doing sightseeing and things, if you're on the beach especially. Obviously you need to make sure that if you are going to a particularly sunny country, then you have moisturiser that has kind of an SPF built in, because it's kind of an extra barrier then as well. Again, when it gets really, really warm, I cannot cope. I hate it when I get too hot, unless I'm literally just going to like line out on a beach. Can't stand it. So what I tend to use is this Monu Spa. It's a rosewood reviving mist. And what this does is you kind of spritz it all over yourself and it just kind of instantly cools you down, kind of like those refreshing water sprays that you get that you just kind of spray on and it really cools you down. This one, because it has things like the rosewood in it as well, it kind of wakes up your senses, helps to keep your skin looking fresh and kind of dewy throughout the day, stops you looking too tired as well, which I love. So this one I kind of like to keep in my handbag, especially if I'm going away somewhere, just because then I know that I've got this just to kind of spray on at the end of a journey or kind of halfway through a really long day if I just need a bit of refreshing. Now the next thing that I think is really, really important to keep in your bag, especially for the journey, is a brush. You don't want a big massive one, of course, so I choose something like the hair on one, or obviously you can get tangle teasers, they're quite good as well. So really, really little, that you can just pop in your handbag. Obviously it saves you space within your normal luggage anyway, because you won't have to take a special brush unless you use like a specific rolling one or anything like that. But with this one here, obviously at the end of your journey you can just kind of brush out any kinks, anything that's kind of made your hair really frizzy, or obviously if you're walking around all day then you kind of decide to go for dinner, you don't want to have horrible frizzy greasy strands of hair, so just kind of run this through it. This is really, really good when you pair it up with a dry shampoo like Batiste, because then they'll get rid of any kind of oiliness or greasiness or horrible blah of your hair, and it'll also keep it kink free. One thing I never leave the house without is my lip salve. So at the moment I've been using the Neutrogena, and it's the Norwegian formula lip salve, and it's also got SPF 20 in it, so it's good if you're going away to somewhere that's a bit hotter. This one, especially on things like airplanes, is going to be a lifesaver, because things like the air conditioning and the oxygen is going to really, really dry out your lips, so you're going to want to keep it in your handbag. Obviously, because of the requirements of some airlines, you are going to have to make sure you check if you can take one on or if you have to buy it in duty free. But for me, because I'm just going up to London, I can just throw it in my bag and slabber it on whenever I need it, and it'll keep my lips feeling nice and fresh. Now, the girl I am going with, both me and her are very, very clumsy, so we end up hurting ourselves quite a bit. So I thought it was a good idea to pick up a little first aid kit that we can take with us. You can pick these up for like a £5 from Halfords, which is fantastic. I also keep one in my car just because, again, it's great to have as well, because I'm a trained first aider. Just gonna push that up there. So these ones have things like cleaning wipes, antiseptic wipes, it's got plasters in it, gauze, gloves, anything you could need for kind of any kind of cuts and scrapes. You can also kind of rejig it around and make your own. So if you know you're going somewhere where there's going to be lots of mosquitoes and things, you can put bug spray in it or hydrocortisone cream so that you can put on the bug bites. Also make sure you put some sun cream in there as well, like a little bottle, just so you know you have some if you do forget your bigger bottle. Just kind of anything that you think you're going to need. The last thing I kind of make for myself is I make sure I have a map. So this is where me being a bit of a geek comes in. So I kind of find the area that I'm going to where everything I need is. I find that on Google Maps, I screenshot it and print it off, as you can see here. And then what I do is you won't be able to see, but I kind of pinpoint all the places that I want to go. So things like, for me, it's going to be the train station, it's going to be our hotel, the different kind of drinking places we want to go to, and kind of shops like Oxford Street, Camden Market, Borough Market, those sort of things. You can do this anywhere, and it just means that you know exactly where you're going to need to go and exactly how close it is to things like your hotel as well. So I like having it on paper just so that I can look at it and visually kind of plan my route and what I need to do. It's also quite good because for places like London, it means that you can kind of work out what tubes you need to get. So I am awful at figuring out public transport. That's why I have a car. I don't need public transport. But in London, I need to kind of figure out the tube system or buses because I can't just get a taxi or an Uber everywhere because that's going to cost me a bomb. So with this, I've kind of on the back figured out exactly what tubes I need to get, what kind of lines, where I get them from, and exactly what I need to do. Just so then it's right here in front of me and I can look at it and I can just go, that's where I need to go. Another thing, if you kind of don't fancy that and you are a bit more tech savvy, then what you can do is download an app called City Mapper on your phone, and that will show you places like, I think it's Birmingham, possibly Manchester, London, anywhere like that, and it will tell you the different kind of public transport there is to get to and from your location to help you out with where you're going and how to get there. So that's a really, really good one as well to look into if you are going somewhere that you don't really know that well, like I am. So that's kind of a whistle-stop tour of the main things I will pack. If you keep an eye on my Instagram, I'll put the link below, then I might put down some other things I'm going to be packing, things like the clothes, what kind of outfits I'm planning to have, and obviously you can keep an eye on what we're going to be doing up there. Yeah, and very looking forward to the trip. So if you have any kind of ideas of where we can go when we're up there, please let me know in the comments, or things to do, stuff like that. And I hope you've liked this video. If you do, please make sure you give it a little thumbs up and subscribe for me. I would love that. And don't forget to check out my blog. The link is down below as well. But thank you for watching, guys. Bye!